They're all just like, do you think he came back for her? What do you think he came back here for?
I was thinking possibly that Caelynn had actually like really deep working knowledge of vans. So he came back specifically. He was like, it's just making this clicking sound.
San Diego, Grand Canyon, back to Mexico.
That's going to do a number on the transmission. And I really think he thought Caelynn, or at least I thought Caelynn was going to have some tips for her. But no, in fact, he wanted her back.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Patrick, the producer of the podcast, over there where he should be, away from us behind the glass.
Guys, I love the energy in this room right now. I think what we're trying to do is overcompensate for what we're about to review.
Well, it could be, kind of an energetic apology for last week. We were in Patrick's living room, very, very close to his angry rhinoceros of a wife.
Say it to her face, dude.
A real battle axe, that one.
Yeah, real battle axe.
Say it to her face.
I mean, I said ad nauseum all week to her face, why don't you laugh? Why don't you speak? I just said plenty of things to your wife's face. Anyways, and I'm not commenting on her weight. I'm talking about her temperament. We're in our old studio. Same digs we've always recorded in. We are back home. So this should be fun.
I just want to let Patrick know my energy was straight up genuine because I'm so excited to be back in here. But now you've kind of ruined it.
Yeah, you really fucked the whole beginning of the show up. Let's get to a fan favorite segment, General Thoughts. Pat, I'd like Nick to go first tonight.
Hey, I didn't acknowledge I was going to go, so you didn't get me there, you jerk.
Well, you start talking.
Yeah, we can interrupt.
Pat, go ahead with your general thoughts.
We can all interrupt anyone at any time. That's
true.
Not clever.
It's true.
Okay, all right. My general thoughts. And I think the audience is going to pretty much agree with me. First off, I want to thank all the baby birdies who are still hanging in there. I'm pretty sure most people aren't still watching this show, but the baby birdies are because they love this podcast. So thank you. We think this show is as horrible as you think it is.
Yeah, and we can't thank you guys enough for stomaching it so you could listen to this podcast because we would not be here without you. It's symbiotic. We love you guys. Did you give knots?
0 knots.
Okay, Nick.
0 knots.
0. Nothing redemptive, nothing redeemable whatsoever.
Man, the season really ending in a pitter.
Yeah.
My general thoughts, I mean, 4 hours is too much for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a format problem with Paradise. You can't I don't know what it is. You can't force these people to like get together like this. Just if they want to hang out and just be there, let them be there.
Right.
Hey, I'm not done with my general thoughts based on what Nick just said. Can I jump in with my additional general thoughts?
I'm kind of curious. I would like to allow it.
Sure.
Hey, ABC, with all these great shows with people showing up to fuck and flirt and bang and
There's
drink.
no fucking.
Yes,
There's no fucking.
Not here, but on Hotel Island or Fuck Island and all that. Those
Love
shows
Island.
they're beating your ass, ABC. They're beating your ass on BIP.
Yep.
With these B squad people showing up to try and get in, dare I say, relationships.
Right.
No. You fix this show next year or I'm out of here.
This is how you fix it. It's twofold. One, the stakes or the expectations are too high. Stop making stupid people get engaged to one another. It's really, really just not entertaining up to a certain point. And two, like you said exactly, the reason why Love Island works is because, they throw in some production every once in a while, but it's really just chaos. It's just male and female chaos, and it's wonderful to watch.
Booze-induced chaos.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the show. Last we left off, Dean was making money moves.
Dean Gate. And who's made that stupid...
Nick's. I can't... for as much as you admonish the term, you're like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. Watergate was a hotel. You fucking call everything gate. And it's starting to get on my freaking nerves. It's starting to cheese me off. But anyway, so he's making money moves, and Connor's like, whoa, why'd he come here? That's where we last left off, okay? I love how they spend time kind of boomeranging around the cast, theorizing about what could possibly be going on here. They're all just like, do you think he came back for her? What do you think he came back here for?
I was thinking possibly that Caelynn had actually like really deep working knowledge of vans. So he came back specifically. He was like, it's just making this clicking sound.
San Diego, Grand Canyon, back to Mexico.
That's going to do
the expertise.
Yeah, that's going to do a number on the transmission. And I really think he thought Caelynn, or at least I thought Caelynn was going to have some tips for her. But no, in fact, he wanted her back.
Took a little bit.
All worth it.
Dylan, to your point, when they were, I guess, bouncing around to the fellow guests on this island about their thoughts on what was taking place, there was a consensus reached by multiple people in front of Connor.
Right.
And that consensus had reached that she was probably going to leave with Dean.
Well, and also they were calling in front of Connor, they were going to say, there's an easy choice and a difficult choice. I don't like this. Is an unfair characterization of the choices. There's no hard and easy. There's an insane one, and there's a not insane one. Live in a van with this pretty boy, or don't live in a van with this other pretty boy.
When you factor in the voice, though, it does become the lines get blurred. Van, shitty voice. Van, shitty voice.
I guess. Anyways, she last episode, he pulls her away. She leaves him for a moment and talks with Connor, who, yes, he does sound like, a much evolved Korean water ghost. I mean, it's really, really bad. But
he's making a lot of sense.
This is the most coherent, eloquent I've ever heard a cast member break down fabricated bullshit drama.
And the sad thing was, her mind was already made up.
Oh yeah.
He was Mr. Smith going to Washington right here on why you should not get back with Dean.
Nick,
great reference.
What did I write down?
Are you serious?
No.
Oh. That would have blown me away. Yeah. But the fact is, Henry Fonda's an incredible actor.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about him kind of pleading his case.
Oh yeah. He did it so well, but too little, too late.
Yeah, and he, to the point where she already made up her mind. She's just staring at the floor aimlessly, like kind of waiting for him to stop. And he falls into that trap of the other person won't say one word, and he tries to just fill the silence. I would have at some point been like, so you talk now. But he's right. He left you on your birthday. He put down your self-esteem and your self-worth. The choice is very, very clear. Also, I know he's good looking, but I'm far more attractive. Far more attractive.
And then he should have said, it's the voice, right?
Is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington Henry Fonda or Jimmy Stewart?
No idea. Now, Christina moseys on over to Dean.
Busy body.
Speaking of body, she bodies him. I mean...
Is she Katie right now? Because she's getting pretty nosy.
Well, I mean, they have a history together, so she does have an excuse to go over there and chat it up and call him selfish, and that he runs away when things get serious, and that this isn't a kind gesture that he's doing. This is some bullshit ultimatum that is only romantic in movies. This is weird in what, if you want to call this real life.
Great take. And I hadn't picked up on the fact that he had given her an ultimatum, which is the biggest douchebag move ever. So
totally.
You picked up on lipstick, put it out there. Very smart of her. And that is really why he is a complete piece of shit and still remains a piece of shit.
I had a problem with it. Was a little selfish of him, but my biggest problem was production allowing him to break format. If you want to be in a relationship on the show, you have to stick through rose ceremony after rose ceremony, and then eventually go to the fantasy suite, and then you can leave as a couple. You cannot just leave. This isn't Lord of the Flies,
right? Well, I was, there's complete anarchy. The producers have just completely lost control. I mean, this is Fury Road.
What are we going to see next? A same-sex? Oh wait.
Here's what I do. If I get on that goddamn island, I think I will at some point. What I'm going to do is
Patrick.
No. Hold on. hear me out.
Admirable, but a little too old.
I'm talking about movies, so this isn't the natural.
Hey,
Little
shut up.
too old.
Chris is here. I can be there. So what I'll do is I'll show up. I'll break all formats. I'll sit down there. I'll show up. I'll go, hey, look, I'm not sleeping out here all day. It's very boring here. I'll be at the hotel. When you guys want to go on a date, come knock on my door. I'll be ready for you.
Pat, we're going to get to Connor later. Man, did he luck out. That if I was on that fucking beach, nothing would make me happier than the interior of a beautiful hotel suite. I mean, God, but we'll get there. I'm getting ahead of myself. You know, Blake at some point says, I'm worried for her because he does have one thing going for him. He's unbelievably charming because he says stuff like, what's going on in that big old noggin of yours? Fucking charm and charisma with a fucking thin, untanned, or whatever the opposite of tanned worm on his lip
Pale?
is. Yeah, pale. That's a perfect word that I was looking for.
May I add to that?
4 letters.
When he's making the case for her to leave with him in that van, she goes, well, what can I expect if I do come with you? And he's like, well, it's not going to be easy, but I do want to change.
Oh.
I don't think that is going to satisfy, despite, well, we all know we're wrong because she does leave with him.
Right.
But I think that's him backpedaling already, which is, hey, I'm already kind of putting this out there. I'm still a fuck up. Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
An honest argument from her would have been like, I don't want to be your guinea pig for domestication, okay? You're like, if you're not...
Nick.
What?
You think Caelynn could have come up with that? I mean, it's a perfect point that both of you are bringing up. I mean, super vague goals being set by this young man. So he says things like, I don't know in what capacity, but I want to be responsible for your smiles. This should not work on any one period, but because Caelynn is of below average intelligence, I mean, really, really dumb.
I didn't mind the line, though, to be honest.
It's a terrible line.
I don't know if you remember the G-Unit song from 50 and
don't.
Lloyd Banks, I Want to Be the Reason You Smile. I mean, I'm obviously off pitch, but it's a great slow jam hip-hop song.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's really melt your heart.
So it would have worked on you.
Yeah.
Or she heard that song.
Yeah.
Okay, one of those two.
Dylan, and I don't want to save us from 1-star reviews because I do enjoy them. I don't think Caelynn's dumb. I think she has very, very low self-esteem, and that is why she's prey to this sex addict.
Maybe, but even if you have really, really low self-esteem, your brain should be firing off like, oh, that's really corny. Like, nobody talks like that. We don't know one another.
But again, by the way, we do have some therapists that are fans of this show, and some have chimed in as baby birdies in that Facebook group, and they have agreed with me that Dean is in fact a sex addict or a love addict.
Yeah.
And he looks for prey because he needs love, but he only needs it temporarily. Once he gets it, he'll throw him away like a used Kleenex.
You know the easiest prey to kill? Dumb prey.
Fair enough.
Dumb prey.
Fair enough.
I thought you were going to say prey that's been abused by the pageant industry.
I knew you were going there. Okay, so I feel horrible for Connor, but hot take. The best thing that can happen to a hot guy on this show is to have his heart broken. It's the best thing that can happen to you. You trudge forward and all of the women flock to you because you can't be Luke S. getting your heart broken. That won't work. That won't work.
Poor man's Nick Viall.
Yes. But if you're Connor and you've got that torso and you get your heart broken, whew, the future is bright.
He should literally, I don't know why he didn't have sunglasses on this beach because of how bright his future is.
Okay. So she takes off with Dean. And I have to say, I am scared for her, but also very, very happy for her because she, akin to Connor, has a very, very bright future in store for her. Pat?
You want to take a nap? Boom, just go lay in the bed. You're hungry? Make some ramen on the stove.
Ramen.
Order something else. Spaghetti.
Great choice.
A match made in sex addiction meetings on Pass Ave in Burbank.
And that concludes
hyper regional inside jokes about Los Angeles. Or we've called it 75 different things.
2, I think.
Okay.
It's a new joke, but I like it.
Yeah.
Keeper.
Katie and the elderly man, do we need to talk about literally any of this?
Not yet.
He seems pretty sick of her at this point. Could be boredom, sitting on a day bed all day, talking to the same 12 vapid souls.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, hey, what marketing company are you hiring? Oh, are you getting FabFit Fun? How much they paying you? How much they pay for you for a
What
post?
CBD brands are you guys working with?
Is that right? Oh, wow. I'm working with Ted over there. He's a great guy. Isn't he a great guy?
I don't think they talk about I think if they did talk about marketing, it would inject some social steroids into that beach, but
it's lame. Lame.
Well, listen, he is clearly very tired of her. Like very, very. She's literally just pointing her ass at him, and he just looks at it and he's like, yeah.
This is where age is a factor, by the way. I have to say, he's been there, done that. He can go nail a cocktail waitress at one of his various venues he works. Now he's sitting here on a beach all day. Nick, I interrupt you.
No, you bring me to the epiphany I've had about him the whole time.
Yeah.
I think his mind is elsewhere. Because that guy in his restaurant is still waiting for that check.
And piggybacking off of that, he says, he could bang any cocktail waitress. No. Cocktail waitresses around that city know that man is still sitting in there waiting for that check. They would never bang a guy with such terrible business acumen and such wanton disregard for his customers.
Meanwhile,
Connor begins to weep.
Oh, yeah. Can I play a clip?
Absolutely, Pat.
Even when she said bye, she wasn't even, she didn't even say, like, sorry. I think what Caelynn did was really messed up. Just hurts more.
Pussy.
Nick,
Pussy.
we have to end the season the right way.
God.
Pussy.
The audience loves this. They especially love when MC Patty B. Nicky.
Pussy illy,
God!
with an Amazon taste is skitty, silly Billy, poppin' pilly, smoking like a swisher, lick this Philly, mold 'em, soak 'em, boom like crack, after shot, molten, lava dry, this should be outlaw, call me pie. Pussy. He's on the planet, better than cars, I paid stuff panic, get it,
Holy shit. I didn't mean to yell straight out of the gate, but it was so crazy because I was thinking, arguably as impressive as Nick's shitty rapping this song all the time is Pat's mastery of the bars he has to work with. I was literally thinking that as we were approaching our last Iggy Azalea of the season, and then he fucked up royally.
I recovered quite well, though.
I don't think so. C minus.
85 knots.
No way. Absolutely not.
I apologize.
Knots.
I apologize.
All right.
Next year, 2020, I promise everyone, verse 2 coming at you hot.
Put your arms down.
Better play your cards right, Mr. Gambit.
Put your arms down and let's move on. We have a lot of show. Night date.
Night date.
Can we get to the next day?
Next morning.
Okay, so Blake's hanging out with Chase and old Matt Donald, and having spent some time with old Matt Donald, asks the question that's on everyone's minds: how come girls like this guy? I mean, we find out that they don't. Only Sydney does, which makes sense. But he does seem to be getting a lot of attention, regardless of his hair being the way that it is.
These newcomers that come really late in the 3 weeks, they have to go after the low-hanging fruit, which is, of course, Matt Donald.
Yes, a man with slick-backed hair that looks like a tsunami, a voice that sounds like he's coming down off of helium, and he's either gay or has an Oedipal obsession with his mother, neither of which are good for starting relationships with women.
Totally agreed. By the way, I was handed this briefcase full of bullshit. I was told in this episode that Matt Donald Bree and Sydney were in a love triangle, and my immediate thoughts were I'd make that into a motherfucking straight line. It'd be me and Bree, and Sydney would be on a fucking plane to Antarctica.
Oh.
Little did I know that Bree would screw him over, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Jesus Christ.
That was a beautiful rant.
Yeah, it's like Pat has these moments where he comes across as extraordinarily likable sometimes. Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that wasn't even a love triangle. I haven't really been harping on it this season, but Bree and Sydney aren't having sex, thus not a triangle.
All right.
It's just a point.
Yeah.
Good point.
You haven't harped on that at all.
Because it's a futile battle. I don't give up often.
I think it's because you just forgot to bring it up until this point.
I've definitely thought about it editing a couple times when we've mentioned the word love triangle, but haven't really brought it up with you guys.
Nick just like picks his laptop up and throws it against the wall.
I've already spiderwebbed my screen. You guys know that.
You guys wonder
From our
why the
other
episodes don't come out late, or sorry. You guys wonder why the episodes come out late? It's because Nick picks his laptop up and slams it against the wall every episode. You know what it's like? Cut all that. Fuck me. So we've got to move on. Sometimes, guys, we joke about not knowing who people are. Sometimes we say, I've never seen this person before. From the bottom of my heart, I have no idea who this person is. I have never seen her before. That is Revion.
Hey, Dylan, don't feel bad because I believe no one else on that island knew who she was either. So,
initial thoughts from you guys?
I just can't believe you guys don't remember Revion. She's of course 26. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I made that up.
She's of course 26.
You know what?
I made that up. I literally I don't remember her at all.
No. Yeah,
I was kidding about the elephant braid thing.
Oh, got it.
You know what she is, and I'm gonna probably trademark this. She's part of the First Night Club.
Yep.
Hashtag First Night. A bunch of these losers. By the way, Bachelor in Paradise, you do this next season. Bunch of people we don't know showing up down here, walking down here. I ain't watching.
Well, can I say I'm a little sad we didn't get the bottom of the barrel sound effect? I mean, this is...
Oh, yeah. No, Pat,
it's too late.
It's too late. Pat, you have to come back to the microphone now. And, speaking of the First Night Club, that is almost... you can't shake that stank off you. There's only one person who's ever done it successfully in, my recollection. That's Grocer Joe. I mean, usually it's a kiss of death. And in Revion's case, you don't exist in this world. This is us being introduced
I'm going to have to.
Same.
I'm going to have
Old
to.
Matt Dottle doesn't count?
Why?
No?
No.
Chris.
Chris who?
The guy who's still on the show with Katie. He was kicked out the first night of his season, too.
Oh, well, nobody knows what happened back in those days.
Okay.
It's like BC.
Why does Matt Donald not count, though?
Because he sucks.
We just gave you 2 examples.
No, they're not good. It's very, very clear to me that she's an underdog, but she's got a lot of potential. She's a fucking lightning bolt of energy, Pat.
And she left with him.
Okay.
So a little bit of mixed emotions about everything, but just trying to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's tough. So do you want to go on this date with me?
Because you're literally the last one left.
I mean,
this is why this social experiment is flawed, by the way. These are people forced upon each other, and there's no time left to actually get any. Imagine if these two hit it off. Can you imagine saying, hey, get engaged tomorrow, get the fuck out of here?
Right. These late editions are... You need to figure this out. It's a very simple equation. You can't have losers come last. They have to be, in order for drama to be there, the best people or your wild cards have to get dropped in last. They have to take people away from their relationships.
Oh, I like that.
Can you imagine if somebody insanely beautiful and substantial came in? Clay would be like, oh no. It would actually be interesting. But fucking Ravina walks down the goddamn steps. Let me get to that really quickly. I made a mockery of her name there. It was accidental. This fucking Old Matt Donald getting her name wrong thing, it's not cute. It's not funny. It makes me hate him. I hate I hated him before this, but I fucking hate Matt Donald.
Your family may be deaf, but at least they can read.
Yeah, and stop talking about your fucking mom. It's weird. Okay, so let's get to the date between Revian and Connor. They go on slow segways and get shitty balloons from a psychotic fugitive, it looked like.
Hey guys, Revian and whatever his name is, they end up making O'Connor. They end up making out. Can I do a meanwhile on relationship statuses at this point?
Sure.
Meanwhile, relationship statuses. Here we go. Chase and Angela make out on the beach. Hannah and Dylan are still all over each other. Nicole and Clay are still hanging, but the clock's fucking ticking on those two. Katie has fallen for Chris, but, well, he's not into her. Blake just wants to hang out with Lipstick. Lipstick is skeptical about Blake. Debbie gets uncomfortable when asked about her future with Christian. Christian says, does it bother you when she flirts with other girls? Should I remind the audience what Demi was up to before her girlfriend Christian showed up to the goddamn island?
Right. We'll get to that. And normally I get very, very angry when you do a meanwhile, which puts 25 minutes of television into a small 30-second pill. But because nothing you just said had any consequence on this show or our lives, I'm fine with it.
I echo your sentiments.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I generally hate it, and his
We cut it out half the time.
basically just his willy-nilliness with the
Right.
meanwhile segment.
Yeah.
I like it to be when there is a date.
Yes.
There is a date in the
Meanwhile,
Bachelor,
at
a
the
one-on-one,
Palapa.
and everybody's. No, I like it. I'm telling you, when it's a one-on-one date. During the Bachelor or Bachelorette, and they cut back to the hotel, and there's drama going on with the guys or the gals.
Yeah.
That, to me, is a meanwhile. He gets very loose with it. Usually I hate it.
Yeah.
But this was good.
Okay. So we have to move on to the last thing that Pat said, which is the Demi and Christian thing. Right. So we get the beginnings of what Nick called public displays of affection gate here. And we'll get to the root cause of this in a sec, but what did you guys think about the myriad examples of Christian touching other women? Because to me, a little weird.
I hated it. This was horrible. I think the audience hated it. We didn't need to see these two have it out with, like, this is all weird. I kind of think it's acting. I'm just putting it out there. The lights, the mics, the tears, the fears. Demi has no more purpose on being on this island with her girlfriend. She's bored as hell, and now is the time to amp up some kind of drama so people are talking about her. I'm just saying.
So can we move on? Let's get to the date card. It gets dropped, and I think it's safe to say Demi is just fucking jacked.
Wow. I'm irritated. I don't want to go on a date right now.
I think she's having her period.
Oh, good for you. All right, so
Lesbians get periods?
Okay, let's get to the date.
Night date! They're having a ceremony to reconnect their souls.
Yeah, this is very deep, and Christian's cup of tea.
Lesbians have souls?
Oh my goodness gracious. This is Christian's cup of tea. And maybe it's the spiritual element taking hold, but she can sense that there's something wrong. Now, personally, I think it was probably the resting bitch face from her partner and less so the ceremony, but that's neither here nor there. Can we get to dinner, please?
Please.
This whole thing could read as jealousy, but there's something really kind of sad happening at the core of this. I don't know, this argument they're having. She's scared of being out in public, and I'm not saying in the public light, which she was evidently fine with. I didn't really think that went through. But it's more that she's scared of being out in real life, in like Florida real life. And I think that that's real. And I think I'm sad for her because it does seem like, you know, she's anxious about it because she's dating somebody who's further along in her development as a lesbian real estate broker than she is. And she's worried that she's going to lose her over that. But luckily, Christian is a wonderful human being, and I think she really cares for Demi. I think this is a sweet moment.
Christian is a bit of an apologist. You know, Christian, you can fight back a little bit and go like, hey, I showed up here because you told me I need to get on a plane and do some stuff in front of a camera. And when I fucking got here, you broke the news to me. You've been like hanging out with one of those creatures that have a penis. Although we had agreed that we were just going to be bumping uglies. And then I show up here and then I got a good attitude there.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting down here with the camera still on me. I got lights on me. And now you're telling me you're breaking my balls here?
Right.
Yeah, there's some hot chicks here.
Lesbians have balls?
Of course, Dylan. Don't be silly. I actually kind of agree with Patrick in this situation because though a bore, Christian has assimilated quite well with the cast, and I feel like that's where Demi is really getting irritated and no pun intended, triggered.
You guys are so cynical.
Triggered.
All right, so final thoughts, or can we move on to prom?
Hold on.
It's just been a great season. And
Okay, stop it.
No. I want to say this
Still
about
have
Demi.
4.5 more hours.
I've said this before about Demi, but we're almost done with her. Missed opportunity here, Demi. And I think her being really upset is a bunch of different things. She's jealous because Christian's having a better time with her. Demi's really pissed and bored now and like thinking, I could have been making out with different people. I could have been cracking wise. Instead, now I have to worry about this other person's feelings because I'm worried about the perception of the cameras and how the lesbian community will view me. And now I'm not having a good time and I'm pissed.
All right, you're just way off.
No, I'm not.
Way off.
I'm
all right,
not.
so let's get to the prom. Any thoughts on Tayshia not going to prom when she was younger?
100%.
Yeah.
I have lots of thoughts.
she was fucking college, guys.
100%, Nick.
No!
She wasn't asked because she was dating a guy in college or some finance guy or something. Someone definitely out of someone not in high school.
What's wrong with you two?
Because we're right.
I feel like I'm sitting next to Tom and Tom Likas. I think she's just weird. I think she's just fucking weird. She was probably insecure and weird.
This from the guy who married his high school girlfriend. Okay. All right, whatever.
The popular girls who were dating older guys still went to prom, okay? They still went to prom.
Tayshia was drinking beers in a shitty apartment when everybody was at prom.
All right.
You betcha.
You know what? Agree to disagree.
Okay.
So she's giddy about this whole thing because it's cute, but it doesn't matter because she is going to shit on and spit on his heart in a few moments.
He can't use words, so this was his version of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Yes.
Perfect final plea, but it's just not going to work. Her mind is made up.
Yeah, no, I mean, he brings her out to Canopy A, reserved ahead of time, and pops a bottle of champs, okay? This whole thing seems very guy trying his best to get out of the friend zone to me. There's a lot of platonic excitement, like buddies just fucking bumping chests, and a lot of platonic pauses. I'm so horrified to see what we're going to see next week with, what's up with Tayshia and Jay. There's nothing.
Oh, we're talking about in the studio footage. Okay.
Yes.
Not to get ahead of yourself. The prom venue was underwhelming. A wooden hut with balloons and champagne. Very sad. The only thing that could actually match the sadness was when some loser looked upon this and said he was going to do his own version of that, but much, much sadder, but not to get ahead of myself. Total loser.
Oh, you're talking about Blake?
Oh, yeah.
Really quickly before we get there, can we just talk about the sax?
Oh, I'd love to.
I mean,
I bet the sax between Tayshia and JP.
Stop it. I just want to say I fucking love this guy. He's having more fun than anyone on that island.
The saxophone player.
Oh, yeah. He's on an island. He's spitting smooth notes into that wet reed, and he's just, he's just jamming out.
And then a bunch of people dance to it. Can I say something, though?
Yeah.
My wife and I looked at each other while we were watching this scene. And we thought it was cringeworthy because no one dances to a solo saxophone. In fact, production knew this, so they piped in a song by Air Supply to cover for how lame this was.
It was Air Supply?
That was Air Supply.
You're
every woman in the world to me. My falsetto's a little off tonight.
There was this long pause with a random power ballad, and I meant to ask you, is this just some royalty-free old lady, or is this Air Supply?
Hey, Dylan, I'm going to do a callback to probably something we haven't mentioned in a while.
Yeah.
But as I was watching this scene, and it went on way too long. Kind of felt like maybe production was stretching this out just to make sure that it would be 2 hours. And then I thought to myself, they've done this before. And the well is dry. And you used to say that when something was this sad and probably over, that we should take it around the barn.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to Blake and Christina. It's rather clear that they're in two different places. He wants her to be the mother of his children, and she wants him to leave her alone for the rest of her life. Yeah, I mean, that's oil and water. That's oil and water.
You don't think it was the date that involved pillows, candles, booze, and a platter of fruit? All items that have been regularly available for the past 2 weeks.
No, I know. It's
how uninspired.
It has a lot of...
It's called Paradise Deconstructed.
Nice.
That's beautiful. That move has a lot of ingenuity. But on a serious note, I mean, all-time pathetic move. Blake writes his own date card.
I'm surprised we've never seen that before, to be honest.
Right.
It's a layup.
It requires a piece of paper, Sharpie, and an envelope. And when she gets the card, I feel like she's looking around to the producers like, can someone tell him that he can't do this, that this is in violation of the rule book? But no.
We all know the production has already thrown out the rule book.
Yeah.
They're about to put someone's head on a stick, for Christ's sake.
That's true. They've already pushed the fatty off the rocks. So we've got to get to the date, or did you want to say another funny thing about Lord of the Flies?
My knowledge of the book
I heard you breathing like that.
I wanted to mention that, yeah, we've already gotten rid of the guy with high blood pressure, but that was already back last season.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to Paradise. Well, Garrett.
Yeah.
No.
Grant.
Diabetes.
Okay, so let's get to the date. This is why we watch, boys. This is why we watch. This sad, pathetic misery is, I mean, you could bottle this up. I would fucking drink this every day. After all of the mother of my children talk, after the we've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, we find out.
You can do the hokey pokey.
We find out definitively that she has both feet clearly out. Yeah, but again,
that's what it's all about.
But Christina, what did you think was going to happen? Like, not only could you have foreseen this when you guys were friendly with one another, but over the past episode or so, I mean, he's been really ratcheting up the like, oh, snuggles and kisses, and I'm so excited to be all in with you. Like, you know, put a button in this earlier.
Well, nothing like being pulled out of the recycle bin and last to the choices, which is what she knew she was. But let me harken back to like 3 episodes when she convinced him to dump some girl named Caelynn. I have that in my notes.
Yeah.
And to pick her.
Yeah.
You know, some of the baby birds had said in the Facebook group that this season made them actually hate Lipstick Eater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with them. She had no purpose showing up here. I know she got burned by Dean and by Blake, but she didn't really come here to find love. Maybe she got a boyfriend back home or something. But she just made me not like her.
She's Harvey Dent.
I wanted her to. Oh, and Harvey Dent.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, I mean, she really has become the villain. I don't quite hate her, but I don't think that her stock rose. And again, the Christina thing, beautiful overbite, needless elimination of her. She was cast aside for nothing. And sure, Blake was the one that ultimately made that decision, but Christina made it very clear, I gave you one, please give me one back. And I think, he felt guilt.
That's one of my favorite Western movies.
Shane?
No, the unjust elimination of Caelynn with the overbite by the coward Blake Horzenbacher.
That is a really good one. Casey Affleck shines.
And I will say, at this point, I was really surprised Blake wasn't like, this whole Christina situation made me realize Revian has been there the whole time. This is why I came to Paradise, what me and Revian Chang have.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, Nick, you're right. It could have happened. If they had 1 more week on that island, he would have been able to flip this into that. Yeah. Let me say this about Blake. I don't know if the audience caught this on his departure. Are we going to get to him leaving too?
Sure.
Okay. When he leaves in an OTF, did you catch what he said? He said, it feels like his heart's being ripped out again, just like it was after Becca. He's referencing back to Becca now.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Why bring her up? You're all
right.
over the map. She wasn't even on the island, and you're like, you dated like 4 girls that you felt. Why not say Hannah or one of the other 2 or 3 girls you were in love with?
Yeah.
Now you're bringing up Becca. You're a psycho.
Well,
and also psycho because of all your weird facial expressions. Up and down, wrong medium.
Everything you say, and who you are.
Good riddance.
So, anyways, she's leaving paradise. I teeter back and forth. Yes, her stock dropped, but she kind of made it out okay. I mean, she dragged a guy. This is the only guy that she could have done this to and not gotten too many blemishes. Like, fucking with Blake is fine. I think America is fine with her, kind of shitting on him. If she had done it to somebody else, I think she would have been a lot more loathed.
Dylan, she basically made it through the entire show.
Yeah.
Why was she here?
Great question. Okay, we've got to move on to the next episode. In summation, he leaves paradise with not a bang, but a whimper.
Yep.
We'll be right back with episode 2 of this week. Okay, so next episode, next day, JPJ breaks down what everyone saw 24 hours ago, and then we get another ring around the rosy of couples who would and wouldn't get engaged. The amount of recapping that goes on in this show is an indication of how dog shit the quality of the programming is.
It's criminal.
And also the landscape of network television, how they're just trying to save as much money as possible with low production costs, and this manufactured drama can turn a profit.
Yeah, mics, lights, tears, fears. Let's get into this episode because it does have some juicy deets, some juicy moments. So Demi and Christian are not doing well. They're not doing well because nothing puts a strain on a relationship like a substanceless shotgun engagement for television. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on this. Christian mumbles into a Mexican blanket for a few minutes, and Demi is scared about the same things all over again.
Could have just said a blanket.
Well, it's a Mexican blanket because of the. I'm not gonna take your bait. It's a Mexican blanket.
I'm a broken record, but you can't. This is my take on Demi. You can't cage a wild animal like Demi. She needs to be free and having fun, and here she's trapped.
Okay. JPJ is concerned that Tayshia's love for clothes would take away from the happiness their relationship brings her. And then says Pahina, and she once again laughs.
But didn't she at
Too
some
hard.
point look at her watch and yell at production, can someone yell cut so I can get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, I did see that. I was like, it's weird that they left that in. Okay, so let's get to the date card. It's Hannah and Dylan. Kill me.
Yeah.
There's fuck this, no one cares, but there's this very strange pattern with these dates of intruding upon familial events of strangers.
I was thinking production has completely mailed it in. All dates entail them crashing Mexican parties. Yeah. It is insane.
A kid's birthday party.
In very anticlimactic fashion, too. They just go for a few minutes, and then they leave and go talk on a bench. It's not integral to the date. They just do it.
Can I say, this is a new take on if the roles were reversed. But if... at my child's birthday party, some Mexican.
Oh no.
Brings a date and starts breaking up my child.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to be cool with that.
You'd be pissed.
And the camera crew, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
And listen. Nick is not being racist, okay? It would work with any other minority.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's on the edge, but it's in. We're leaving it in.
No, he's 100% right. I co-sign on that motherfucking point.
If the roles were reversed, that
if the races were reversed.
I don't want to sound like a broken record because that's really funny, Nick, but I want to say this. This is how sad production is for this show, is we already know these two idiots are together
right,
and are not going to break up. They've been laying in bed with each other, telling each other how into each other. We need to see them show up at this. We need to have them walk us through this date and waste 15 minutes of our lives. This is goddamn disrespectful.
I agree with you on so many levels, but there is this one weird thing between them that's kind of interesting. I can't get a read on whether or not she's in love with him, or whether she's just lying to this poor little child of a man, or if she's just insane. Because the way that she takes in all of the affection is this very strange, like Pinocchio-like puppet, emotionless, wide-eyed thing that's just fucking weird.
I guess we shall see next week. How far will they take it? Although there is a new cottage industry with human beings that want to be reality TV people.
Oh, I thought you were talking about sex trafficking.
That's another thing.
Okay.
That's another story.
Tales old as time, actually. Nothing new about sex trafficking.
And I don't know if you would call it a cottage industry.
Yeah.
The cottage industry is this. Two people that really wouldn't really stay together are together for the sake of actually showing up on this TV show once a year and being like Chris Harrison, throwing them like, don't you want to be like Carly and Evan? Those two losers that no one in their high school liked, but now they get to go back and walk around their hometowns.
And the FabFitFun.
Can I take a picture with you?
Right.
Or yes, they get all these opportunities, and they're kind of like relationships that are kept together just for the sake of being on TV, and it's very sad. But it's weird that they can do that, and maybe this is what Hannah's aspiring to. Sorry, it took a minute to get there, but maybe what you're feeling is Hannah's willing to go that distance.
Yeah, maybe she is a Komodo dragon.
Can I give a different take? Quite possibly even a hot take.
Whoa.
Okay.
Dylan, in her eyes, she's very shallow. She only goes for good-looking guys. Dylan fits the prototype of a good-looking guy, and he treats her with affection. Yeah. So she's never felt this. So she's like, this is the total package. Dylan seems to be well-liked on the island. She doesn't see the gay thing.
I think what you're feeling
I think he
here
looks
is
like a sea monkey.
safe.
I don't think he's
They
attractive.
both started with an S.
He's considered attractive if you don't see his beta behavior. He's a good-looking dude.
Nick, I like your point. He's safe for her after dating a bunch of jerk-offs. Still, I might lean towards Dylan's take that she's here to be on TV, and she will have children with him.
She's going to go that far with the act.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
The guy from The Prestige would be proud of her. Okay.
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. Or no.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Really. Hugh Jackman is just the poor victim to finding out what it truly takes to be a master. But let's get back to Bravo's, not Bravo's, ABC's Bachelor in Paradise. So we've got a date card, Clay and Nicole. We'll get to that pure romance later. But Connor, all of a sudden, just says he can't stop thinking about
Whitney.
I mean, you just have to keep your head held high and be hopeful about what you want, what you're looking for, and that you will find that eventually. I just wish she would have come down.
Where the fuck did this come from? It didn't stop him from dry fucking Caelynn, whether covered in paint or jacuzzi water. Where did this fucking come from? The whole thing stinks. Smells.
Of producer intervention,
Yes.
Dylan? Is that what you're saying? The puppet masters?
Yes. It's just weird. Whitney is coming on the last day almost to meet him, even though he's said zero things about her. And then to add, I mean, not insult to injury, but just more producer intervention, like nauseating producer intervention to nauseating producer intervention. You said something really dumb when we were watching, I thought. Oh, I can't wait for her to get there. Or I hope she gets there after he leaves, which I thought was insane. Of course, they're not going to do that. But alas, this stupid cars exchanging hellos on the road thing happens. To what end? What is the point of this?
I can tell you the point from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
They didn't want to waste any more time on those two getting to know each other because they only got one more episode left. So they had to have them go meet up and have a romantic thing in a hotel and say, happiness does happen for two people. And who cares?
That might be a hot take.
You can only crash so many Mexican parties before you end up at a cartel party and get your head sliced off.
Yeah,
so I think
right.
this was a safe bet. Stick
Just
to
thinking
corporate
that.
hotel.
Yeah, no, that's really dangerous stuff. So can we move on to Clay and Nicole here? He walks up in his classic Chicago look, which is a black T-shirt and jeans, and he sweeps her off to dinner. Now, yes?
What I've always loved about Chicago is how innovative it is in the fashion landscape.
Yeah, it's cool because like who knew Blackhawks merch would be cool and like Billy Goat Tavern shirts would be big, but
Kanye wouldn't go out with some ones that are clean and a shirt with a team.
Okay.
A jersey.
Had to get a Kanye quote in for the last episode. Oh, but we're going to be, it's not the last episode. We're going to be back next week with, that's what they call in the biz a tease. We're going to have a returning guest next week that you guys are going to absolutely love. That's what they call a tease.
I have a feeling that episode's going to sulk.
Oh.
Well, it's kind of on the nose, kind of ruined the whole tease. But anyways, so let's get to dinner. I'm surprised Clay has the willpower to not eat the food in front of him because it seems like protein is his only drug. It seems like he eats just so much food. He seems like he would actually be like, why aren't we eating it? They've made it for us.
But he wouldn't say there were.
All right, so
I'm trying to understand. Why the food I can't eat.
They talk about the logistics of their doomed to fail relationship. She wants him to say that he's all in, and he's looking at her like a pet you need to put down. Pat, go ahead and hit us with a clip.
Like coming to the beach and like not knowing what to expect and meeting you. You're my best friend on the beach. And when I wake up and I come to breakfast and like you take forever to get ready and you're not there, like I'm just waiting for you. And I just want to see you and spend so much time with you. I do. And I do think like I'm starting to fall in love with you. I am.
Not happening. Major filibuster. Major filibuster. Did you realize the substance of what he just said?
No, to be honest, I tuned out in a major way when this was going on.
Pretty much what I heard is he was like sick of how long she takes to get ready.
And
like you said, doomed to fail.
He likes eating breakfast and seeing the sun come up, and then she walks down, and maybe he might be thinking that eventually he might start thinking about starting to fall in love with her.
Of course, he's thinking about breakfast. That's the most protein-packed meal of the day.
It can be, yeah. I mean, it just sets itself up. I mean, eggs.
Bacon.
Eggs. Okay, so let's get to JPJ and Tayshia, the Titanic drawing moment, huh?
Oh, man.
I mean, Tayshia just looks so beautiful. The Titanic drawing, cute and all. The drawing doesn't read because she's a terrible artist. The lines are too non-committal. But we do move away from this, just hoot of a time to Katie and Chris.
Oh, this depresses me. I watch TV to enjoy myself, not be depressed.
All right, we've got a clip coming up. But I do want to set this up. She is fucking hammered. And he is possibly suicidal. At the very least. Clinically depressed. Pat?
You look so handsome.
Thanks. Stop.
What? What do you mean stop?
You count me all the time.
I know, because I really like you. Tell me.
I know.
You okay?
I'm good, yeah.
What do you need? Tell me what you need.
I don't need anything.
Tell me the little things that you like.
The same things you like. I don't need anything, really. So.
He's like, here's a couple things I like.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Silence.
Yes.
Any of those would be good.
Baseball bat.
Like Pat.
Airplane ticket. I don't know. Some other things.
What would he need the baseball bat for?
To silence someone.
Oh my God.
I don't know. He's an angry guy.
He's a very angry guy in this moment.
Guys,
he is a sweetheart, though. I mean, he's just going through something.
But can I say this for Chris, and maybe I'll defend him as well. He's old. I'm an old guy.
Yep.
What he should say is like, hey, look, it's not about you. I'm sick of talking to the same people. I'm fucking sweating my balls off. I'm sick of cameras. And can I be honest with you? I'd love to get away from you right now.
Oh, yeah. No, that would have been very transparent. Okay, so he literally just puts her to bed, and then he comes down and drinks. So, yeah, sad stuff. Let's get to the rose ceremony. Shitface comes out and says, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not in a relationship, you gone. And also, no cocktails. It is fucking crazy that the guys have the power because Luke S. is still here and he has an opportunity to still be here.
Having the power you're using very loosely in terms of Luke S.
Yes, you are right. I was going to say maybe that worked out in the producer's favor. Luke S. steps up first, and here begins the senseless, needless avalanche of embarrassment that falls on Luke S. You asked where the fuck this was coming from.
Whose significant other on the production staff did Luke S. give the business to deserve this type of treatment?
Yeah.
They have a vendetta out for this man.
This was set up perfectly to inflict the most misery onto one person as possible. He steps up first and asks Bree if she would take his rose, and she says, no, thank you, never. And then Chris comes out very slowly, letting the silence speak freely, and says, well, this has never happened before.
And to me,
Hey, loser!
This sounded like a little Frankenbite too. I swear to God, they added that because Chris was walking, his face wasn't really towards camera. I'm telling you, they added that in just to like twist the knife.
Oh God!
And you'd even mentioned the first body shot he took from Haley, how she had to throw in there how much worse looking he is than the actual Nick Viall.
God, I had sympathy for her, but you rat bitch. What a mean fucking thing to say.
Knowing that she's going home.
Yeah.
The only insult to injury would have been wonderful if we got the behind the scenes clip of this rose ceremony where they actually said, hey, Lucas, I know you just got dumped and Harrison just walked out. We got to relight this just to get everyone's reactions.
Right.
Do you mind staying here? Hold on. Yeah, you'll stay here? All right, great. All right, action! Does anybody else want him?
That right there is genius. Ingenious, I should say, because it sets more silence up. He says, does anyone want his rose? Why can't you just let him go or have him ask one other person? Not, does anyone want his rose?
Especially after the speech you just gave, how a rose means you're in a relationship.
Yes.
So clearly, no one is going to take it. I haven't seen a beating this bad since Mondale in '84.
I agree with you. That's what happens when you pick a chick as your vice president.
I'll stop it, Patrick. But
saying.
Listen, and then to add insult to injury, the first person old Matt Donald asks is Bree, and she says yes. This is excruciating. Hit us with a roll call.
Roll call. Here's guess who picked each other at least for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Matt picks Bree. She accepts it. Thank God she accepted it this time. Dylan, Hannah, no shit. JPJ, Tasha, Clay, Nicole, Demi, Christian, Chris, Katie, and Chase and Angela. You want to know who goes home?
Yeah.
Well,
Haley, Sydney, and Rev.
shocking moment, Revian going home.
I really thought Blake and her were meant to be.
Yeah. And Sydney leaving is really, really sad because Sydney is, I got to say about Sydney, she always holds up a pretty solid character. Mm-hmm. She doesn't shit on anybody. She's pretty cool. She's a little insecure, but Sydney's a great girl.
Very genuine.
Yeah, very genuine human being. It makes me really sad that she doesn't find anybody, at least on this outing. We're rooting for you, girl. But anyways, next day. Shitface shows up and everyone's freaking. Everyone is just freaking. He says we're no longer having rose ceremonies. This is the make or break. And he rattles off some of the perennial all-stars. And it did get me thinking. The perennial all-stars.
Oh, yeah. He was reminding reminding them of the jerseys that are hanging in the rafters of this island.
Yeah, the MVP, so to speak. And, this got me thinking, the conversion rate of love is way higher in Bachelor in Paradise than the franchise show. Way higher. I mean, we get an engagement and a marriage, at least one a season.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes two.
So what does that say about...
I think it's like a mathematical thing. You got more choices on both sides.
Yes.
Rather than 1 versus 30.
Yes, that's a great point. All right, so now let's get to Matt and Bree. Now, this couple has potential. No, but seriously, fuck Matt Donald. He gets dumped.
I want to give him some advice here.
Yes.
Never lead with, well, you're a supermodel. I'm happy to be
Right.
with you. Lead with, look at her ear instead of making eye contact with her. And she goes, why are you staring at my ear? And go, I don't know. Well, nothing's wrong with your ear.
Right.
She'll be into you. Seriously.
Right.
Never tell her she's hot.
Keep her paranoid. Keep her on her heels.
I would have went even a little further with it, Patrick. I would have, if I was Matt, I would have been like, "Oh, Bree, looking kind of homely today. Could dressed up. This is our final conversation before I decide if I want anything to do with you."
Yeah. And I would have been like, because I have game. I would have been like, staring at her ear, and she'd been like, "Why are you staring at my ear?" And I would have said, "It's disgusting. Disgusts me."
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good job. I don't know if you were going to say this, but Bree says the reason why she doesn't want to be with him is because he can't see her interior. I don't like this because she came here looking all hot as a model and all that, and now you're like, "Oh, you weren't looking at me on the inside." I don't know if you were giving up your inside. I don't know if you were really putting it out there. How am I supposed to get to know you, Bree?
You, Nick, said it earlier when we were watching. Even nice guys are still guys.
Yeah, he's very shallow, very vapid. Sydney would have gave him anything he wanted in terms of a family, a faithful partner, but yet he wanted to go for the dime.
Yep. All right, so you reap what you sow. So do Chase and Angela just end?
Oh, I love this. Okay, hold on. This is what's amazing about the connections that this island and this process provide.
Produce, yeah.
Yeah. So Angela and Chase sit down for 40 seconds. They both say, "So where are we at?" Chase says, "Something's missing." She said, "All right, good to know. Let's go."
Dude, their relationship was much like that season of Paradise that you were talking about tonight, off mic, of course. You know, the one that they just randomly moved to USA one night and then sci-fi the other night?
See, I thought it reminded me of John from Cincinnati. It was just...
Oh, I missed that show.
It was weird.
my
It
gosh.
didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Everybody was excited for it. Well, no one was excited for it.
Yeah.
No one was excited for it,
Right.
and then it went away.
And everyone was like, "Milch, you ruined the third season of Carnival for this bullshit?"
Very, very inside. Don't know what any of that meant.
No, my parents are big HBO people.
It's not TV.
It's not.
It's HBO.
So, Hannah and Dylan, they're talking about going to fantasy suites like 12-year-olds, which is normal for them, but remember, insane. Fucking insane. And we've talked about this. 3 to 5 minutes of missionary with constant "are you okays," then tears and "I'm sorry" after. Jesus. All right, so Clay and Nicole. I just want to commend Clay because this is a masterclass of non-committal language. I'm hopeful for the potential of an opportunity. I mean, he's really, really being careful.
Yes, with his words, because they're being caught on film. You know, when I played in a band, one time this older guy, I said, "Hey, can you come see my band?" He said one of the most beautiful things ever. He said, I can't catch the show, but I heard you guys are great, and I mean that." And somehow he fooled me into thinking my band was cool.
I feel like there's more to this story. The story being, I was talking to an old man and said, "Hey, you should come to see my band play." What What was the relationship between you
I
and
think it
this
was
old
a
man?
music executive or something.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. The hustle and the grind.
But he knew how to choose his words to make me
Whoop that
buy
trick.
into
Yeah.
his bullshit.
And
it's an art.
The thing I love about you is, although you failed and you're driving Uber now,
Yes.
your head is high. You have as much integrity as you did on day one.
Oh, I've moved past all my dreams. I've let those die.
Now you're going to have a kid. This is what life is.
That's called a nightmare.
All right, so
That trick is from Hustle and Flow, not Hustle and Grind.
Let's get to JPJ and Tasha. Now,
I don't want to, but
I don't want to either, Pat. But JPJ says a lot. And he says it right at the top. He says it very, very quickly. I want to dance with you, hopefully at our wedding. Whoa. Don't say that. Calm down. But this whole thing was very, very confusing. She gives him a very, very responsible out and leaves it kind of open-ended. Like, I can't get there yet. She says yet. And out of nowhere, he just says, it's over then, I guess. Am I reading this incorrectly?
no, it's exactly what took place.
This begins a cringeworthy soap opera that is disingenuous and bizarre. She's running after him saying thank you for everything, picking her up like she's fucking Jane and he's Tarzan, him saying goodbye, Tasha. What is all of this?
A privileged stoner and the hottest chick from her high school, possibly her entire college, looking like they've lost a child and he needs to go off to war. That's what the music was portraying.
Right.
Oh, well, no, wait. We'll see each other next week on an after show on a stage. I'm sorry. I hated all this. It's cringeworthy. I hope they're both embarrassed 4 years from now and like don't want to admit that they are those people when someone meets them in a mall. Hey, you guys were the well, like they'd be together. Hey, Tasha, I loved you on the show. You were great. She's like, oh, no, that's not me. That's not me. I don't know who you're talking about.
What would JPJ sound like when he was approached?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's why you call it T-ball.
That ended pretty quickly. I thought that was going to go on for another 45 to a minute and a half.
It was perfect.
All right, so we'll see them next week. You had a fucking fire prediction. We see scenes from next week. He gets down on one knee. What's in that box, Nick?
A nugget.
Ah,
a chicken McNugget.
That's the best prediction you've heard all episode.
Not a chicken McNugget.
Chicken
just
McNugget.
a nugget. Not a chicken McNugget. Just a nugget.
What are you calling it?
He's calling it a McNugget. I'm saying that's a proprietary thing from McDonald's.
Yes.
I think it's just a nugget.
Chicken McNugget.
No.
So Demi and Christian keep talking. I never thought a lesbian couple would be the most boring on the island. It's just, is there anything here, or can we move on?
Where's the fun, Demi?
Yeah, it's like the Black Eyed Peas sang.
Yeah.
Where is the fun?
Where is the fun? Yep.
People living, people dying,
people hurting and they're crying.
Did I mention that I'm only doing this show because I do a podcast about it? Like
You're only watching the show?
I'm only watching this show because I do a podcast about it.
Yeah,
I
of
feel
course.
bad for everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are watching it, and I can't thank you guys enough for listening. So we're wrapping up here. Katie is nervous, so nervous, in fact, that she's touching her face. This is just the saddest relationship ever. He thinks that he can't break up with her, and he resents her for, I don't know, liking him back or something. He pulls her aside, and they break up, or he attempts to break up with her, and then they don't. So, Pat, let's end on a high note. Roll call.
Roll call! Katie, Chris, Dylan, Hannah, Demi, Christian, Clay, Nicole. If the producers of this show are still listening, here's some notes for next season. After the third episode, give males and females rocks. I haven't worked this out completely.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I was going to say knives, but I think I'm going where you're going.
Okay, what?
Oh, yeah. And the men need to fight each other to the death with rocks.
Yeah,
That's their only weapon. And the three guys that aren't bloodied and still standing, they get to have whatever women they want.
Oh, yeah. Like it should be.
Yeah.
Like it fucking should be.
Again, I'm still workshopping this, but I think it'd be far more
Sounds
entertaining.
perfect to me. All right, we'll be back. Yes?
Just whatever they find on the island. I mean, I think.
Oh, okay.
You kill someone with a coconut, you can kill them with a coconut.
That's a good wrinkle. That's a great wrinkle. Maybe we do need to workshop this a little bit. So we will be back next week to break down the finale of Bachelor in Paradise. Please jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews if you have not. Also, if you haven't joined us on Facebook, do so. The baby birdies are chirping away at facebook.com/, look up another Bachelor podcast. That's it for me. Dylan, saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.